Hey, welcome to Foreigner in the Philippines. Well, this, I guess, we decided that over these last two videos and plus this one that I'm actually going to do right now for you is all about immigration in the US, so it will concern a great number of people. So we put part 1, part 2, and this is part 3. Now, my friend who wrote the original, oh gosh, yes, here. So this is what he actually wrote, and it gives a breakdown of how it might affect a number of people. Okay, so admittedly, you must still take this as being part anecdotal, right, until you actually read the laws for yourself. Okay, but it does seem like it's pretty comprehensive. So here we go. In a nutshell, if my partner were to apply for a green card, an immigration officer would look at several factors to determine if she will be a risk of becoming a public charge over the next 5 years. Age and health, under 18 or over 61. Ability to work. Ability to make over 120% above the poverty guidelines. Now, when I was in America, which is like 6 years ago, I think the poverty guidelines were around $17,000 a year. But I'm not sure whether that was for one person or whether it was for a family. It actually goes up. Obviously, it's more, the poverty guideline minimum is more for a family of 2 children. Okay, so anyway, how many public services have been used over the last 12 months, beginning a couple of days ago when the rule was in force? So it was actually only enforced a couple of days ago, so this is really all new. Even if already married, even with a family, if one does not qualify for a green card and has no other permits, that person is going back to their country of origin. If the father has sufficient income of up to $64,000 a year, depending on family size, the family may be able to stay with some immigrant visas, unlikely for very long, but cannot adjust status. See, now when I came to America, I had a multiple indefinite visa. I could come and I could stay for 6 months. Now back then, what you could do is you could go to an attorney and the attorney would apply for a change of status for you, which is what's mentioned in that letter. You could apply for a change of status and you could have a sponsor. Well, I had sponsors. Now, because I came into the country legally, I'd had a multiple indefinite visa for quite a number of years, had been to and fro to America a lot, never overstayed my welcome, never overstayed the terms of my visa. I could have stayed 6 months, I never did. And so when I finally came and decided, well, I think I'm going to apply to stay, I had a son to sponsor me. He sponsored me and I was able to stay. And at that time, the laws were such that an offspring sponsoring, say, the father or the mother, it would not be refused. It couldn't be turned down. Now, when it was approved, in weeks, it was only weeks, and as I remember, it was only weeks I got my green card and could work. Now, in the year that it took for that application to be processed, I couldn't work, okay? But the moment that it was approved and the immigration officer shook my hand and said, "Welcome to America," I then, all I had to do then was wait for my green card to arrive, but I was processed and could work and stay. So things have changed a lot, and this is from what I've read in these couple of letters. What's happening now is that it's an end to the idea, and this will affect a lot of Filipino American marriages, I feel. And that is that coming over, for instance, if Beth and I had decided to go to America and it was on the old this rule, I would have been able to make the application and take Beth to live in America. And Beth, in due course, once she was accepted into the country and she was legal and all of the paperwork and processing had been done, she would be able to have a green card and she'd be able to work. Now, given a period of time, and not very long, actually, practically within the duration of a 6-month temporary green card, which once that temporary green card is fulfilled, is run out, then what is it, I think it's a 10-year green card that they used to have, don't know what it is now, but that 10-year green card, and she would be able to petition in a daughter or a son, and I believe that she would have been able back then to petition her mother or father or both, as we would have done if Beth and I went to live in America. We would have petitioned Nanai and she would have come and lived with us. That's over, it seems. So now, this thing of, especially in the case of, I mean, for instance, Beth has 9 brothers and sisters. Well, imagine what the potential is there. The potential, if her dad was still alive, the potential would be that she, given the money to be able to support them until they could have a green card and get a job, the potential would be that my taking one person, Beth, into the country might mean another 10 or 15 people. You see what President Trump has put a stop to here. With large families from India, from Pakistan, from the Philippines, from other countries which traditionally have large families of up to 10 children. You can see what it means in terms of immigrant, an influx of immigrants. So that's stopped. Now it's not a case of whether you have relations living in America. Apparently that's going to stop, and that's going to impact a lot of people in their plans. For instance, if we bring this down to a local level, and Beth and I decided that we wanted to live off the mountains, we wouldn't dream of leaving Nana here, even though I don't know whether she would choose to come with us, but I think she probably would. And if we decided that we wanted, I don't know, if we're going to dream, why don't we dream big and say that we would like to have a house on even a modest piece of property next to the beach. And if we were building a house down there, we would build in an apartment for Nanai, or she would live Filipino style in with the rest of us, okay, which is how we lived when we first came here. So it's going to impact a lot of people, and you know, let us know. You can always contact me on Messenger or on email, and why don't you put in the subject box immigration or US immigration. If it's your story, I'll be interested to read it out, and if it offers some other people out there who have their plans to do similar stuff, and what you've learned may impact them, by all means I'll be happy to read it out, and not if you don't want your name or details about where you live, then I will, as you've seen in that series, in this series of letters, I won't reveal anything that could trace you back to where you live or who you are. Thanks for looking in. Thanks for listening. I hope that the information is of some use to you in a positive way, even if at first it might seem negative. Maybe by being, as I say, forearmed, you're forewarned, or forewarned, you're forearmed, whichever it is. So, this is A Foreigner in the Philippines. Bye for now.